Yeah, this is an opportunity for sure. 100% really like this pullback. Chip shortages, which likely are not going to get resolved until 2022. So just want to watch and see how much this proves to drop. Assume the whole sector is going to get smacked here now with chip issues becoming more prevalent. So, and not much we can do. But if you're a long-term thematic investor, then use this opportunity to create a long-term position. So, I mean, as you see here, very nice upside still. A lot of the best analysts have ratings and targets that are well above that average there at 200. Phillips really good. I've read his work before. Yeah, all just driven on chip guidance. So whole sector here is going to get smacked, unfortunately. So look to buy TAN if you can get it at 80. It's a pretty good base down there, 78 to 80. And just start to build a long-term position. There's a pretty strong floor right here. Yeah, pretty much at 80 there. Pretty decent floor support. So wait for it to drop down into the 80 before loading. NASDAQ. These tax issues are just such a pain in the ass. Really disrupted the momentum. Always something. Trying to break out, and then we get capital gains issues rolling over, and then there's more capital gains tax rewrites that they're proposing on real estate. So just a disaster here across the board. In terms of the NQ, it's holding. You just want to see it on this support there. So looks fine still. There's not much to say as long as it holds up. So you want it to base, call it right here. So don't want to see us below 13,875. Kind of bounce there and see a pretty steep green bar here on the 4 hour. So looking good still. Hopefully we get some rebounds in some of these mid caps. Pinterest, I mean, revenue growth was as good as you could have got, and unfortunately they care about monthly active user growth, which was still better sequentially. So that's just same thing happened with Facebook back at $50, and now we know where it's at today in the 300s. Obviously Snapchat's not going to be of the same scale as a Facebook, but let me clean up all these channels that I had drew here. I'm going to have this going much higher over time. Likely could, yeah, I mean, $80 billion valuation is not out of the picture on Pinterest. They've have no presence internationally, so that's a huge growth lever. They're still figuring out how to make Pinterest shoppable, but the visual orientation of the platform is attractive to making it conducive for that shoppability aspect. So bright things ahead, in my opinion. That Ofer guy at CML agrees with my thesis. Pretty much everyone that tracks fundamentals. So yeah, it's a hefty valuation still, and that's why it's getting kind of dinged here. It's on this support that it just realigned there in the weekly. It's gonna break through that, so it may come into this draw this right. It may come into this 58 to 60 range. Not entirely sure yet, but 58 to 60 range. And if it does, that's a load the boat moment for me, right there. So I'm just waiting to really create a six-figure position here. Yeah, so I mean, any kind of near-term dip on Pinterest, not a concern at all long-term. Just too many opportunities here. Strong engagement trends for their core demo of females. Hopefully, or maybe over time, they can expand the audience a bit into the male demo, but for now, strong growth opportunities as is. So I'm gonna wait. So there is some support right here on, let's just call it intermediate term. So we'll see what happens if it can hold the 64 mark. If not, expect it to come down into this 58 range right here, and then that creates a really attractive entry. Lemonade I've been looking at. Oh, yeah, I mean, I can't really help you here. It's, you almost got the retest. Forget what, was this just inclusion in the NASDAQ or something that caused this to pop? It was inclusion in one of the indices, I believe. Yeah, I'll pull it up. Directionally, what you're gonna have happen here if it can break through this resistance right here at 509, you're going to get this extension up to this upper linear line at 7. So look for the breakthrough at 509 on MNMD, and then you'll get that extension up. It's pretty much a double off the baseline here. So you got the nice breakout here above this resistance line, and then it skyrocketed up with news, and now you kind of measure peak to breakout, and then you can essentially get, I mean, you can see this up at 8, so that looks good. Plug, still in the depths of darkness down here. This line moved a bit, but you can see it. That is a long-term support line. It touched right here. Touch right here, and it bounced right here. So I based upon that support, I would be buying any dips down here in this 24 range. So this is likely gonna get hit with just the green energy solar weakness with the chip issues. So unfortunate, but the reality. So it broke through this resistance, and now it's going down for another drawdown based upon the news that came out. So HC. All right, I'm not spending time here on these penny stocks, these small caps, but that needs to hold 194. Below that, I guess there's decent support right here. So 190 is kind of your baseline there. Below that, then you're in trouble. So just want to see it hold there. FOMO bear, nice. HITI. Really going to the penny stocks here, but so you're going for this resistance. You can see it's it broke out of this downtrend pretty clearly right here. So it's not perfect, but my mouse keeps snapping to these resistance lines here. But presume that this is, yeah, so this is turning hard here. You can see there's horizontal support down here, which it turned off of nicely. So it looks good for at least a run up here to the next resistance is right here on the left, which is, it got rejected there, so you do need to be careful at 69 cents. And the next one's up here at 76, and then above it, then you get that extension up here to 80. NEO, yeah, I mean, a chart's not going to tell you much. Never use a chart to determine an earnings print. It's if you bought earnings just looking at a chart, you're in trouble here. So I would even, I mean, if you're asking with where support is, the 50% mark is right here at 34. It's obviously clearly dipping here a bit. This is, I guess you can call this this is the support there at 36. So look for a potential drawdown to 34, and then if it can hold this support right here, the short-term support, the stock name's in the top left. It says it right there, and it's right in the center. It says NEO right there. Right here, if you can't see it, it says NEO. There you go. So there, you can see the stock there in the background. So yeah, NEO here, looking for this to, so it's on this short-term support line right here in green, but I wouldn't, can everyone else hear? Yeah, I think that's a U issue there. But yeah, so NEO, very tough call here going to earnings. But if you're looking for where it may go, it can draw down all the way down here to, I mean, probably below 34, but that's just the 50% mark. And then if they really crush it, there's a lot of room up here to 58. So NEO, you really got to buy that on fundamentals. I'll just pull up just analyst targets, although I would never buy off these, but let's just see what they're saying here. I mean, they're going to be impacted by chips as well. So very tough to make a call there. VYGF. Sorry. FV. This is another. This is a Just give me 1 second. I need to fix that background. I made it too dark. Went too light. There you go. This is Bitcoin related, I believe. So right here is the resistance mark that it's trying to get up to. You can see it's curling up. And it's holding this support right here in green. So, I mean, you really just got to trade this off of Bitcoin. I believe it's a Bitcoin stock. Crypto exchange. I mean, a lot of these. There's some weird price action today, for sure. But it's still above this short-term resistance line, so maybe not. It's right under it. So it's trying to kind of break above the wicks here. Not sure what caused that huge spike, call it around 4 p.m. today, but it looks like it's trying to break through. That would be really attractive if it can turn and run higher, because then you'll likely get this retest of the all-time highs. So Bitcoin looks good. Voyager is in a kind of neutral spot, really just going to depend on what Bitcoin does, in my opinion. But you can see it broke above, call it this secondary resistance right here, which is where it was held down. And now it's going for the primary resistance, which is the longer term resistance where it got rejected. So trying to head up here to 22, but you can see if it doesn't hold 19-ish, whatever this number is right here, pretty much where it is, there's risk down here again back into 1720. So that is Voyager. NNDM, I believe they had news. Yeah, it popped off of it. So that's pretty much where it picked up. Just want to see it hold this support line. It's getting close to potentially breaking. Not yet, but there's not too much room here for NNDM to drop down. So just want to be careful. You can see it broke through this secondary resistance point. So just a lot of kind of fake movements here. Looking for it to either touch support here, only a few cents down, and then try and turn higher. Really want to see this turn up to the 11 mark. I don't really track the fundamentals here on NNDM. It's not covered by experts, by the sell side. So just keep a tighter stop loss here. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely pumped, and then you had like all the ARC following and just a bunch of stuff, and now it's stuck with all that selling pressure, which is why it's extremely annoying. DDD, I believe, had the same thing. Yeah, look at that. It's almost the same chart. So primary resistance, and now you have even secondary resistance right here, which is what it broke out above, which is nice. But now dipping again, we'll see. But this is pretty strong support right here, this green line. So anything in the high 19s to 20 range on Triple D's 3D system is really attractive. DraftKings, yeah, I mean, it's definitely turning here. So you had the primary resistance, which it broke out of, and now it's sitting on support right here in green. So yeah, I would say if you keep a tight stop loss under the support, call it at 57 high, mid 57s, then it's a pretty good setup. Obviously, DraftKings really needs that broader market cooperation. So you can see it's at this secondary blue resistance. Tried to break out and then call it rejected and fell back down into the short-term support. With DraftKings now at these kind of levels, you really just got to play the thematics and long-term game with just increased legalization. New York was obviously the most recent one, and they did a lottery system, which means it's not open market, and the two winners there from a sports betting perspective are going to be Flutter Entertainment, FLTR.LN, which trades out of London, and that is FanDuel. They have obviously a ton of other brands. Poker Stars go down the list. And then you have DraftKings. So those are I believe, the two skins that are going to operate in the New York market if the current structure doesn't get challenged. So remains to be seen what happens there. But yeah, that is kind of the current status. POW. Ammo. So you can see it should be in blue. So I draw all my resistances in that color. But yeah, just another one, kind of just resistance right here, which is where it's seeing the most pressure. So this one doesn't even matter at this point. This is where it's seeing the most pressure. So just want to see a breakout above, and then it can really run here. There is not too much resistance. There's some right here, just horizontally, which is kind of where it got rejected last time. So we'll call it at the high 7.8s, 7.9s, and then through that, then you're really running up here to the 9 range. So this looks half decent. It's, POW ammo, and just want to see it hold mid 6s. CRM. I'd say most of these behemoths are yeah, this is a pretty clear breakout, you can see, of the channel. I like this a lot, actually. My channel is off, so channel is right. I can get these lines to snap here. So that's pretty much the channel right there. It's still through it. It's holding this support. So as long as it holds this support right here in green, I'll change the color in a second. And I'll even back it up a bit so that as long as it just holds that support and just doesn't revert back into this descending channel here. But yeah, CRM looks really good. This should be on the best of best list, which it is, and this is even a short-term trade idea. On this breakout here, the mega caps are doing exceptionally well. The scaled players are just going to continue to win. CRM's one of them, so this looks beautiful. And this could really run. So I wouldn't be surprised by, call it June, that we're back up here at the 284 level on CRM. Walgreen Boots Alliance. So this did what I was looking. I haven't touched this chart in forever. So that did what I was looking for. It came all the way up here and then got rejected, and then broke down. That doesn't matter anymore. Did that complete. So this is the long-term support here. There is this resistance right here on the short term. Good thing is that it's out of this larger downtrend. So I believe, let's see. So that would be an equal measure. Up here at 74 for it to get back up to that resistance, which would ultimately be what you're looking for. Call it by Q3 of 22. Move up to 74 to retest this resistance. It'd be equal measure from this peak to that peak to this C peak here. So short term, really just need to see it turn above call it 53.5 and hold up here for it to really reverse. But right now it's kind of going to be pressured, call it into this corner here at the 51s 50 range. The good thing is it's technically out of this steep downtrend, so and in that hooking phase, so looks good, just can't see it below this 50 mark. RIOT, same thing. These are gonna follow the Bitcoins of the world. It's not gonna, but they did make a sharp move today. It did get out of this short-term downtrend, so I did have this posted, I believe, in the group saying that it would go up. It could very well go up to this 55 mark, so not bad. You just got to keep tight stop losses on these because they move way too much in short periods of time, so you can be burned very, very easily. So tight stop losses, take profits on major bounces is kind of all I can say in terms of guidance on these. So this is going to be where it's trying to get to first before it pushes up into the 56 range. So this overhead resistance, so it would be 54 and then potential for it to kick up to 56, and then we'll see what happens. But there's not a ton of support here, so I'm not going to say that it's just going to move up here. It very well could just break that and come right back down here. So need to be careful on these. But Bitcoin looks not too bad. I don't even look at that. Dogecoin, I just bought it and just sit on it. Although maybe I should buy like 20K. See how high it goes. Corsair sitting on the support. I still like it a lot. You see what I have drawn out there. It's still in that like cupping motion. So you can see it's still trying to kind of complete this. I think the fundamentals are strong here. So as long as it doesn't break this green support line, call it 30, like 32s or mid 31s, then I'm sticking with this. Below 31.5 is where there's risk, and then I would dump it and try and re-enter at, call it the 27s, the lower support of the orange channel. Rock, CWH, these all moved like I expected off of this 40 mark. I believe this is getting hit with the Dow Jones and just COVID news, etc. But I like this long term. There's a ton of room here for this to. You see where this is the intermediate term move that I believe we're gonna see here. CWH moving up to 69. Call it by, it would probably be by October-ish. But I like this. It's a good seasonal play going into summer. Rocket. And then I'll go back to eBay. Rocket's turning. Let's see what. Pretty good ratings there the last call it 7 days. I mean, their first print was impressive. Housing market's still strong. So, I mean, it's worth a shot buying into earnings. As you know, earnings are always a risk. One data point may be stellar, and then another one will just screw you. As we saw with pins there, unfortunately, but I don't buy that, so that's why I'm just gonna wait for a slight pullback on pins and then go extremely heavy here. But yeah, on this, I mean, strong earnings will skyrocket this, so not too much to say. Short term, you just want to see it hold where it is. You want to see it hold this support, call it at 22. And then earnings, you're tossing dice on the table. So that is up to you. ZNH probably gonna get hit with all this, with all this bullshit COVID news again. Although literally no impact to China. It is breaking down here, so I just don't want to see this, call it, fall below 34. If it falls below 34, I'll probably sell it. I have a 26. So, scratch that. If it falls below 33.5, I'm done with it. So, still looks good price pattern wise, but playing the pattern, it is an airline company based out of China. China is fully normalized, but this will get pressure when the Boeings and the Air Leases and the airlines of the world get hit. So unfortunately, it's not going to trade outside the group, but when the group heats up, then this will truly run. So it's getting real close to a sell point here where I just take profits and then look for potential lower entry somewhere sub 30. So sticking with it. Sumo, I'm just staying with. This is just a very low or a very attractive risk reward setup here. You can see it did this W, and now I'm looking for the launch out, so just gonna sit on it. Feedback on their business is positive. It broke out of this massive downtrend. It double bottomed here at 16.65, and now it's trying to release up. So looks really good still. Like it a lot. The longer term, call it 18-month move, would be up here to 44. eBay. Can't remember the last time I went on eBay. But they've been a COVID play, so. Did they report yet? Yep, that they did. Okay, so on eBay, just connect the wixes here. This is where it's gonna fall to. So wait 3 days to buy this now. It's gonna come into this 55 mark at a bare minimum. So this is where it's getting pressure down to. And let me just pull up the 4 hours so you can see it again. It's definitely where it's going to fall. eBay has that negative stigma attached to it, just slow innovator, too much competition from players that are much larger than them. They haven't really refined their product offering. So any weakness in a print is going to cause it to really pull back here. So that is eBay for you. Look for that pullback into the 55 range, and then it's pretty attractive. Tesla. I mean, you got to buy. I mean, you got to play the long-term game here on Tesla. If you're a true believer, if you're a trader, it's at a fairly weak point, right? Just want to make sure that this number's right. Okay. I think it was like 380, or sorry, 680, 690. Yeah, so 690 is kind of where you'll want it to hold here. But you got to buy this, I mean, for the long term. If it breaks this, then it's the next support line would be, I would assume that it's going to come down here into this line that I'm holding. So 650 is likely the next stop once 690 breaks. So gotta see, but you have to look at what Elon's tweeting, and he's like, this is gonna be the #1 revenue producing car by 2023 or whatever, the Model Y. And then second largest in terms of units, if I remember that correctly. So, I mean, if he has that much confidence, I wouldn't doubt him. Let's just say that. So, you can hate him, you can love him, but he tends to be right more often than not. So, watch for a drop into this call it 40 to 50 once this breaks here at 690. Alrighty, throw in any kind of final requests. Gonna wrap up here in like 10 minutes, and then I'll be live again tomorrow as well. But yeah, I mean, I love Tesla long term. I think they're gonna figure out the scaled production model. They can figure out a different company, but same kind of engineering backbone. If they can figure out how to land a rocket, then I'm sure they'll figure out how to produce more cars. Disney, yeah, so like I said, this just needs to hold the 180 mark. If not, and we really get a rotation out of these kind of laggard plays just due to some ridiculous COVID news. I already went through pins, so you can just scroll back the broadcast and you'll see it. It was the second one I did, so very early on. 165 could be where this pulls back to before it really extends. So for the second leg higher, Upstart. Pissed that I wasn't paying it. I had a call when it skyrocketed here. Wish I got that sell off, but didn't. But it's on short-term support right here. So don't want to see it, call it below 110. But the chart's very attractive from the position. It broke this primary resistance, and you can see what happened the last time it broke. I mean, it's almost identical what it's doing in these two boxes here, and then a repeat here. Look at it. Break primary, kind of slow upward increase, and then just a skyrocket. So I'm trying to play this skyrocket if I can get it. So, I mean, this is the types of stuff I'm going to take shots at. RIOT, I did. Spot. Yeah, wait 3 days. Bad earnings. Another one, I believe this was probably, it has to be sub-driven here. if I had to guess the metric that they missed, it had to be subs. But I didn't look at the print, so if you can type what it was, then I'll revisit that in a second. Unity, this is one that CML really likes. He believes that the application of their game engine has a lot of use cases beyond gaming, movie production, etc., automotive. I believe they have Volkswagen as a partner. Just their rendering software. Well, I probably just made that up. I don't know if it is their rendering software. I don't know what these outside of gaming clients are using Unity for. But you can see what is pretty attractive here in terms of the pattern. So maybe a pullback here, call it into this 100 mark, but call it by mid-June this should get up here at least to the 140 mark. And CML has this as their kind of one of their best 3 to 5 year ideas. They're long term, so I would say they invest in like fundamentally strong, innovative, differentiated companies. This meets their criteria. He was talking to me about like Roku and how it was on the list when it was at 50, so that is his viewpoint in terms of where it goes. Near term, they do have risk to call it a 30% segment of their business with upcoming mobile changes on Apple. IDFA, I've referred to it multiple times on all of the ad tech related names. So ad networks, they're used to target users. IDFA removal lessens the targeting capabilities, less matching, so it's going to impact them near term whenever that rolls out. No idea when that is, but need to monitor it. There will probably be a pretty significant hit to some of these ad tech names when that happens. But long term, I think you're fine here. AMD smacked today. So it's coming back into this support right here. Really want to see it hold. Don't want to see it break down and come back to the support, because this should already be running, but it's had its whole host of issues with headlines and just everything being negative in the news cycle related to them. So this is where it should be over time, that 120 mark, but it's not an easy journey up there, as you can see. Very, very range bound here. Trading, call it, in that 100 to 70 channel here for quite some. Move it down, say right here, 95 to 100 to 70 channel here for quite some time. So I mean, once it releases, we'll get up there. That's probably by Q3 21 that it does that. And then when kind of stocks get up into this corner, I'd be exceptionally careful, because then you're going to get 15% drawdown on a lot of these. I mean, more 15% drawdown on the index. So that's going to cause what was it? March S pain times 5. So just need to be cognizant of that as some of these get up there. This is a good call in the group today. Where I put it in, I believe it was Mr. Hadi Mahan. But yeah, right there, as soon as it breaks through this, then you're gonna get that move up to 30. So looks really good. Real luxury goods resale marketplace. And you can see it's in that cupping formation that we refer to all the time. So that's real. Gonna cut the stream here at an hour. Covered all the requests, and then I will post all the chart requests in the chat by, call it, tomorrow night, and then we'll do another stream tomorrow night. I'm just gonna do a bunch of these hour streams. Also gonna be live Friday and Saturday, so just a lot of live video, trying to figure out some research. I'm gonna post that kind of best of best fundamental list of what are good names to invest in for a 2 to 3 year outlook. So that is coming soon. Just kind of doing some research on my end before I publish that. So thank you for joining, and I will catch you in chat.